Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube lands? It's your boy Ty the Ambassador, back with another episode of the OG Fitness Room. Got my partner.
It's Robbie. Excited for this one.
Yeah, man, me
So,
too, man. So go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Okay, man. So we've had a lot of different people on here. You guys make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Check out our interviews with Jazz the Rapper. Check out our interview with Jay Mills. Check out our interview with five-time world kickboxing champion Kathy Long. Today, man, I'm really super excited, man. This guy is considered to be a trailblazer in independent cinema. He is responsible for a lot of decapitated heads, decapitated limbs, responsible for what your mothers and grandmothers might call trash TV, but what some of us movie enthusiasts will call cult classics. We got my man Lloyd Kaufman is in the building, man.
There we go. Welcome. Thank you for
How
coming
you
on the
doing,
show.
Lloyd?
Really
Well,
appreciate
thank
it.
you. Thank you, Robbie and Ty. It's a great honor to be on OG.
Yeah.
Right on, man. So I'm gonna start off like this, Mr. Kaufman. I remember being a little kid, and me and my mom used to live on the south side of Wichita, Kansas. Man, there used to be a video store called Video Unlimited, right? And my mom would let me pick out a couple of movies every weekend that we would rent. And I remember being a kid and going to the horror section and picking out. I kept trying over week after week, month after month, year after year, trying to get her to rent Toxic Avenger Part 1 and Part 2. I didn't know what it was about, but there was something about the cover that I liked and that I was attracted to. But there was something about the cover that my mom didn't like and wasn't attracted to, and she would not let me rent this movie for nothing, right? Fast forward a couple years, I'm up late on USA. I'm watching Up All Night with Gilbert Godfrey, and they're playing like a trauma marathon. And I finally get to see these movies I've been begging my mom to watch for so long, just strictly based off the cover art. So my first question, Mr. Kaufman, is how important was it for some of that iconic cover art for the trauma movies? How important was the artwork to you guys?
Well, Sid Blaze painted that poster. He's now a world famous artist. We got lucky. He did a great job. And there was a special bonus because all across the United States of fascism, we a lot of grandmothers who were getting videos for their little kids would rent the Toxic Avenger because it looked like a cartoon. So
Mm,
I every time I go to a festival or a retrospective or a convention, fans always say, I was 5 years old when I saw this movie. Hundreds of thousands of fans
right.
told me. So that sort of a side benefit. Also, Blockbuster, which was fascist and killed off your store in Wichita,
Mm-hmm.
they put it for a while. They put in fact, I've got one at home, a VHS cassette that has a label on it that says family friendly. They put it in the family section. So I imagine
Wow.
there were Blockbuster stores that had it as for kiddies.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
why, you don't want monopoly. You don't want monopoly because when you have monopoly, it gets fucked up, uh, uh, innovation and progress is. That's why Trump doesn't want anybody to talk, and he wants all the art to be in the hands of a small number of billionaires. And here we are,
Mm.
53 years later, and the only reason we're here is because of you guys and our loyal fans for 53 years. And you do agree. You're right. It's a cult. It's more like a family because so many people who've worked for us have made their own movies. Like the It's like the Hudson School of Painting. It's Hudson. It's the Troma School of Filmmaking and Art. There are painters out there influenced by Troma's movies. We're an important, we're actually the word trash film in France. I'm big in France, in the Cinémathèque Française and Intelligentsia, because a trash film is considered a genre. It's not.
Mm.
It's not like schlock. People here are stupid. They Tromer's a schlock. Yeah, a schlockmeister. Kaufman's a schlockmeister. Schlock. They don't know what schlock means. Tom, what's that movie? Tom Hanks. I like that chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. That was a schlock movie. What's it called again? Won all the Oscars. That's
Forrest
a
Gump.
hateful. What? Yeah, that's it. Forrest Gump.
Mhm.
That's schlock. That's a hateful movie. That's a movie full of Trump.
It's a classic movie, Mr. Kaufman. I
Our
got
movies. Why? Why are we still here? Terra Firma, Decapitated, Cannibal the Musical, Citizen Toxie. I can go on for an hour. And Mother's Day. Mother's Day is a masterpiece of my brother's film. But most of our careers were cut off at the legs, like in Bruce Willis's graphic, bloody, splattering knee shot in Die Hard. But when we have a cartoon violence, the MPAA would destroy everything. So my brother's career was ruined, and he went off and became a millionaire baker. Makes also, he's got about 400 people in San Diego making bread and baked goods. But the good news is horror films deal with a knife and bread. You have to use a knife. So at least he's in the knife world. But I think he's going to. I think we're going to be reunited, making movies in the not too distant future. My brother and me. I'm hoping he
okay.
retires and we'll make something together again after 50 how many years. But what a pity! Because of a double standard American censor board, Tromer was ruined, and so was my brother's career, and many others. And that's why there are no independent studios. The MPAA would have a double standard. They'd let Die Hard have all the blood in the world that was serious, and Troma and others who were making satires and basically cartoon movies got their legs chopped off, unless the movie came out through a vassal of Disney or whatever the other one, Warner's. And now you've got consolidation, so you'll be victimized by two giant companies, maybe Disney too. Anyway, it stinks. The world stinks right now. And
Right, right, right.
my latest movie, Power of Positive Murder, which is inspired by Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. I was the only one on the set of about 100 people who had read the whole book. Uh, and it's perfect for today with Trump and racism and anti-Semitism and hate everywhere and war for fucking sake. After all this, all the mistakes, we're going to start another bullshit war and kill off another generation of young black men and then the prison system. See the Alabama solution. My daughter Charlotte, who plays the mute child in Terra Firma, and she's also mutant baby in Romeo and Juliet and other movies. She, as well as director of photography on several of our films, including Occupy Can, the hot new documentary. She's got a nomination for an Academy Award for the Alabama Solution. I doubt it's going to win because it's not the Trump. Trump's putting his foot down on the arts. So as you'll see tonight at the Academy Awards, let's hope some of these people speak out against Trump, but they didn't the last time, and let's hope they do now. The Grammy people did wear pins, 8647, get rid of 40, it means 86 means get rid of, and 47 is Trump, 47th. I put that on all my social, and I have a bracelet that a fan in Alabama gave me that says, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm sorry,
Oh yeah, I see it.
it says 86. I was in Huntsville, Alabama, where we had a big show, and it was all scientists. I can't get it up right, but I think it says, crap. Hey, anyway, this says, I'm sorry, it says 8647.
8647. Yep.
Huntsville is all scientists, so we had about 200 people in the rocket science area who about 20 of them were wearing, men and women were wearing tutus to honor the Toxic Avenger. And it wasn't, you know, it was toxic. His film wasn't shown, but they all wore, a lot of them wore tutus. You know, these are not teenagers, and they filled up this little theater, and you know, they
Yeah,
all have PhDs, and and they're not young, and they are coming to see a silly movie. They came to see Citizen Toxie, and I can't remember the other one, but there were two or three other trauma movies. So it was great, and I really appreciate. Fans give me a lot of stuff, but I very much appreciate this. 8749, 8747. You can't really see it, but you can sort of see it.
yeah, we can see it now.
Well, how are you guys doing?
Yeah.
How's OG doing? You had a champion kickboxer. I saw one of your
Yeah,
podcasts.
we had Kathy Long up
Yeah,
here.
yes,
Yep.
congratulations.
That
That's
that,
great.
that was that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely. She seemed very, very nice.
yeah.
Nice person, huh?
Yes. Yes.
You know, you know
Go ahead,
when you
Robbie.
start drama, did you expect it to evolve into this? You know, like you just mentioned, Huntsville, Alabama, which is like a government scientist type. It's like a serious type of place. And you mentioned they dressed up and still came out to see you. I mean, this is pretty much everywhere. Uh, there's fans of your films, and it's more than just movies, obviously. So, did you expect this to take off like this and evolve into what it is now?
Well, trauma hasn't exactly taken off, and thank you for suggesting
Well,
that. But over 53 years, we have no money to advertise, and our movies, not up until now, have been butchered. Now the industry is basically a duopoly, and the rating board doesn't even exist. I don't think, but they may exist, but it doesn't matter because the theaters are all owned by two companies, and it's hopeless. But the one thing we have is word of mouth. People talk
yeah.
about our films in a positive way. And even when they talk about it in a negative way, they're so violent about it and so hateful about it that gets more people interested. And the movies all deal with the journal, the movies that I've made. Now, Troma's produced probably at least 100 movies, but of the few that I've made, they all reflect the times we live in. Squeeze Play back in 1975 was about the women's liberation movement. Yes, it's funny. It's got a lot of sex. It's a raunchy comedy before Porky's. But if you look at it now, it's history. Waitress was the identity of women's identity in 1980. Stuck on You was about divorce and palimony. Uh, I was always wondering if my wife's going to kick me out. Uh, each a toxic Avenger, obviously, the elites running our lives, sucking us dry of our financial and intellectual capital. All the Toxic Avenger movies are dealing with abortion. Citizen Toxie deals with school shooting back in 2000, hoping that satirizing it might, maybe school shootings would cease or be ridiculed. But now you have them every day, and it's almost like in Citizen Toxie when the Sklar brothers, who play newscasters, one says to the other, "Well, another shooting in Tromaville," and the brother says, he's a twin brother. He said, "Oh, I covered the Chicago shooting. You better take this one." And that's what we got every day. You have to go when school kids go to school now. They're told that now, kids, you got to. If there's a shooter in the school, here's where we go. We go in the closet and we stay in there. And
If
little
they put you in a
kindergarten
corner,
kids, how would
yeah.
you like to go to school like that, right? Everything that was wrong when I was born after World War II is just as wrong. And the Alabama solution, of which I had nothing to do with. It's so right, so correct. Burt Lancaster made a movie in 1937 called Brute Force, and it's about the prison system, overcrowding, sadism, corruption, guards selling stuff, drugs and what. Here it is today. It's worse than ever. The little brown people are still cleaning up motel rooms. I don't let them do anything in my room. I leave the tip and I put don't disturb. I don't want them. It's a disgrace. And they have to worry about being picked up by the stormtroopers and deported to some country they never heard of. It stinks. This country is a sandcastle dissolving. And when you see my latest film, it reflects what a young man must feel like today. When I was a young man, there was the American dream. I started a movie company. What could go wrong? And luckily, my friend from Yale, Michael Hers, who did go to law school and passed the bar, and is the best guy in the world. Luckily, I met him through my brother, who went to camp. They were both Charles Kaufman and Michael Hers were camp counselors together. So my brother told Michael to look me up when he got to Yale. I had a black and white TV. You had to hit the thing to make because the pictures kept doing that. And in those days, it was rare that you had a TV in your room. And Michael wanted to watch television, so he had to come in and talk to me. And he didn't want to, of course. He still doesn't want to talk to me. But we became friends, and he went to law school, and I went on to make some unsuccessful movies. And then he didn't want to be a lawyer, so he went to see Cry Uncle, which was directed by John G. Avildsen. It's on Troma now, our streaming service, and it's terrific. It's great. John Avildsen was able to make gold out of shit. He made the first movie I met him on was Joe, which was also a pile of steaming cow shit, and he turned it into an Oscar-nominated movie for a budget of about 150,000 with no stars. Peter Boyle's first movie, Susan Sarandon's first movie, my first movie, Ralph Boda, who went on to be a Oscar-winning, Oscar-nominated, or maybe winning director of photography, all came out of that little movie. And it's still on Troma now. It's terrific. And Cry Uncle also. Oh no, Joe is not on Troma now. No, Joe is stuck in MGM library or something. But Cry Uncle, which is hilarious. I defy anybody to see it, and it's a satire of the old movies that used to were called Cry Terror, Cry whatever. They were kind of detective, slightly scary detective things, and so John came up with Cry Uncle, which is hilarious. And instead of having a handsome James Bond type detective, he put in Alan Garfield, a short fat guy. And then he cast a skinny actress who we discovered on Broadway, off Broadway, in Tom Ian's The Dirtiest Show in Town. It was off Broadway. It's very good. No, he's brilliant playwright. And John is well, he just died, of course. He was one of my main one of three mentors, and did a lot to help Troma and give me advice.
Good.
Mr. Kaufman, what do you think it
Call me
is about the
Lloyd. God
toxic?
damn it! Call me Lloyd. Call me Lloyd.
Oh, okay.
I'm
All
just
right,
a
Lloyd.
sad old man. Really, don't worry about Mister. I have the mustache
Okay.
because I recently grew this mustache because Occupy Cannes, Lily Hayes Kaufman's very interesting film about Troma getting kicked out of the Cannes Film Festival after 51 years. And it's funny, it's education. Every film student should see it. And it's bittersweet. It's kind of sad because we're never going back. But that is an example of how all the fans rally. They volunteer. Everything we do in that movie is with fans at the Cannes Film Festival. They come on their own from all over the world and volunteer to portray Kabuki Man and Tromets and Toxie and Turkey Man, and we all have a street theater, and we have Charlotte Kaufman is on the bullhorn explaining to the people in the street about we need more voices. We need in art. We need diversity. We can't have monopolies. And we get people gathered around to listen. And I speak French, so I can translate. And
That's
then the
awesome.
cops would come. They not the cops, but the can security people with big, tall guys with things in their ears and sunglasses and long coats, like the Matrix. They'd come and break it up and.
Oh. Oh.
You froze.
Yeah.
Movie that after 51 years, and the people of Cannes, the citizens and the police love us. It's just that Cannes doesn't want to. The big corporations that spend $500,000 on one party and $100,000 on renting the side of the Carlton Hotel to put up a poster for Leonardo DiCaprio, like nobody knows who he is. That's what Cannes wants. They make money. We come in there and we rent the theater for $2,000 a shot to show our movies. We rent the rooms and hotels, and they charge double for food everywhere. So we are contributing to their shit fascist economy.
All right, Lloyd. We're gonna try to squeeze in a lot of questions the next 30 minutes.
Okay, I'll shut up.
So
I'll shut up.
like, you're good. I mean, all the wisdom is appreciated. I know you got a lot to say. You know what I mean? So it's all good. One of my favorite movies that Troma has distributed is Ferocious Female Freedom Fighters. That's something else I caught late night as a youngster, man. I know that wasn't an original Troma movie. I know that's something that you guys picked up overseas and redubbed and distributed, man.
Did you see my brother's dubbing? He dubbed in a whole new. Did you see that one? Where
Yes. Yes.
It's hilarious, right? Look how talented my brother is. It's terrific.
Yeah, it's great.
If those
I've been
actors
curious
over
because-
there, if the actors in Indonesia ever see this, they're going to. A producer told me they're going to come and beat me up.
That's hilarious. I was curious though, Lloyd. I've noticed, like in some of the Toxic Avenger movies, there you guys kind of dibble dabble with karate and martial arts.
Uh-oh.
I was always curious.
I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, the internet. I don't know what to do.
Can you hear me?
Sabrina, anybody out there who can help me? I'm sorry. Maybe you can get the sound back.
Leo's here.
Okay. We're doing the.
Who's it?
Leo, he did the.
All right, let's see.
Can you hear me,
Hello?
Robbie?
Yeah.
Hey, Leo, how you doing?
Long time.
So nice to see you.
Me too.
Oh,
Hey, so we can hear
Hey,
you. I
Are
don't
you
know
guys
if you can
on? I
hear.
can't hear you.
thank you.
Yeah.
You look
We
good.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Okay, sure.
Come on.
Let's type in
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What are you doing
Hello?
here?
Sorry, let me just get in. You're good.
I'll
Hello?
show you something.
go ahead.
Hello? Yeah.
I'm in the middle of a Zoom, Leo.
Oh no.
We can't hear you.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sabrina.
No,
Yeah,
you're
we-
fine. I cannot hear any of you.
Oh,
I was in Michigan the other day.
Oh, boy.
everything.
That's great.
Hmm.
That's terrific.
Yeah,
Look at this from communist China. Fan mail. The
Let's.
truth gets out. No matter
Maybe I can leave and come back.
lie all he wants, but eventually the truth
Ty.
gets out.
it's true. Yeah.
Do you
Well,
have?
Yeah.
thank you for buying that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, of course.
Do you think? Oh, wait, if you could hear me, do me a favor. Just give me a thumbs up if you think that I should reload the call.
Yeah.
I should reload it? Okay, I'm going to reload it.
We're still on.
Make
Hello?
sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, and subscribe. You know, hit that bell, brother. You know what it is.
Right.
We're good.
You know
You
what
can
it
hear?
is. All right.
Years.
All
All
right.
right, I think we're back on.
Hold it, Leo.
All right,
Come
perfect.
here.
Oh, Leo's here.
This is Leo, a major contributor
How you
to
doing?
the art of trauma over the years.
Yes, and we're working
Nice
on
to
Power
know.
Positive Murder right now.
Oh, thank you, Leo.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right, you see, even as hateful as it is to work on a trauma movie, and unpleasant. People seem to have a good when they look back on it. They stay very loyal. The
Mhm.
people who work for us.
That's great, man.
Considering people have to sleep on the floor and learn how to defecate in a paper bag and all that, they end up marrying each other. It really is like a worldwide family, and love in journalism. It's very important.
Right on, man. I was getting at the ferocious female freedom fighters, man. I was just kind of
Yes.
curious. I noticed in a lot of the Toxic Avenger movies, you guys kind of dibble dabbled with karate and martial arts. I'm kind of curious why Trauma never released anything else in that genre. Why didn't you guys ever do like an all out martial arts karate
Well, I
thing?
don't know anything about it. That's step number one.
Okay.
And in Citizen Toxie, Paul Kermsey and who played Toxie? I think it was who played Toxie. Well, anyway, there's a terrific martial arts fight between Bad Kabuki Man and Good Toxie. And Bad Kabuki Man, it's a time travel. Citizen Toxie. Uh,
I've
there
seen
was
it.
a time a doppelganger, evil Toxie comes into Tromaville, and good Toxie goes into Amortville, and evil Toxie comes and fights good Toxie, and it's a bit complicated, but evil Kabuki Man kicks Toxie's ass. Let me tell you. But it's not something I'm really interested in. But that fight was a pretty good one, and we've written, not we, but two of our trauma staff have written Kabuki Men. Oh, bye, Leo. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Love you. Yay. Um, yeah, I forced him to say he loves me because I say I love him. At any
Right.
rate, I don't want to talk too much. Keep going. Ferocious Female Freedom Fighters was filmed in Indonesia. And there's another one we've got called Christ, the something Iser, which we've got up on Troma Now, our streaming services. That's an Indonesian action movie, nonstop action, but it's hilarious because a typical shot. There's a house with an open kind of entrance with no door. You can just go right in like a car thing. And then there's a door. And you see both of them. And the motorcycle goes through the wall rather than through the open door, you know. It's not wanting to be hilarious, but it's terrific. It's nonstop action. The Stabilizer, it's called. It's on Troma now. It's kind of not good, but it's hilarious. Just and the constant explosions. But it was during the period when action figures were so popular. Troma's War was an action movie, although it was a satire of Ronald Reagan's world.
How did you guys get into the streaming world? Like what was who made that decision? What was it that kind of clicked in your mind like, we need our own streaming service?
That's a great question. One of the reasons that Troma is still going is we have young people involved with us, and they are tech adapted. And my middle daughter, Lizbeth Kaufman, who's an environmentalist, think Toxic Avenger. That's what she does as a career. She was interning at a company called VHX, and they were creating platforms for streaming. And she was looking at them, and she thought, "Hey, you got a thousand movies. Why don't you try it?" This is about 20 years ago. And I asked Michael Hers and the people who work here, and Michael agreed. So we started about 20 years ago. Troma Now is free the first month. Then it's only $4.99, and it's moving up slowly, but it's going up, not down. And also, all you need to do is put in an email. You get a free month, and if you can't afford it, just make up another email, and you can keep going. Most of our fans don't have money. I don't charge for signatures or photo ops. You know. Sylvester Stallone and the Star Trek guy and all these billionaires, they charge. Now, maybe they give the money to charity, but they ought to make more noise about the fact that their signature money, Stallone charges $500. And my guess is they give the money to charity. I just don't know. I don't know
Okay.
why they don't need the five. And these kids who, you know, my signature is worthless, and I imagine in the fullness of time, Stallone and I and all these movie stars will be forgotten because nobody's heard of Samuel Fuller or Joseph H. Lewis or Howard Hawks or John Ford. Talk to young people; they don't know. How about the guy D.W. Griffith? Right? They don't even know about the racist film that was such a success that he made that Hollywood blasted for years. Birth of a
that was
Nation.
the first
Birth of a
movie, I think,
Nation.
right?
What's that?
That was the first movie in U.S., right? Was that
Well, it wasn't the first movie, but it was the first mega. I think it was the
Mega?
first
Yeah.
mega hit. You know, 100% racist, no problem. You know, everybody, we love it. We love it. This is America, right? Our history is built on violence, extermination, right? Genocide. You want to, they're calling the Israelis genocidal. How about we? Look at the poor Indians. I give them money, and black people, for fuck's sakes. It's just so it's horrible. It's horrible, and I really don't. I'll be dead soon, and probably, it's just getting worse. Doesn't get any better. I don't understand it.
Uh,
H. Rap Brown said it all. Violence is American as cherry pie, and he was right. He was right.
did you have these I guess beliefs, or were you always like this when you started making films? Was it conscious to make it so
Yes, with
violent?
me it
Okay.
was. With me
Yeah.
it was. Michael Hers, who was a better director than he dropped out of directing. He co-directed The Toxic Avenger, and then he stopped basically directing movies. He didn't want to get up at 4:30 in the morning and have me being crazy and all that. And so he runs the company. He's the boss, and he's terrific. And we've never had a signed contract or anything. And he has, if he wants to empty the bank account, which is close to zero anyway, he can do it anytime he wants. So he and I have been lucky to be partners, I think. And but it would have been better if he had directed more movies. He gets it. He's seen every fucking movie. He knows everything. He reads everything. He knows everything. So anyway, I don't know if I answered your question quite properly.
No, no, you did. Yeah, definitely.
But
So,
it's really the social issues. My whole life, I had a very socialist grandmother.
mm,
Everything she said has come true. She said that America is a sandcastle that's dissolving, and she predicted everything. And she was right about health. Right? Don't eat hot dogs. Don't drink this. Monster. Don't smoke. And she was right. I mean, vitamin C. She was friends with a lot of. Linus Pauling was a Nobel Prize winning scientist. He worked in vitamin C. He also helped invent the atomic bomb, and I think got a Nobel Prize for that too. But she was right. Vitamin C is a miracle drug.
mm,
Don't. She also prevented us, or at least put stuff in my head to stay away from doctors as much as possible, unless they're buying you dinner.
Lloyd, what I know I'm one of those people that I have Toxic Avenger over like Superman, like over a lot of the mainstream superheroes. Like I just got that deep love for that character and that whole storyline. What is it about the Toxic Avenger? What is it about that character? What is it about that background? What is it about that story that has resonated so many years to where new fans, a new generation of fans are connecting with it, where people still love that franchise? What is it about Toxie, man, that has stood the test of time, man?
Well, I think here's what Toxie has that other superhuman heroes, especially Batman at times. It's the pathos. First of all, he's an underdog. Toxie's the ultimate underdog. And he's also a romantic. There's a love between Toxie and the Tromavillian citizens, although they turn on him like citizens do. But then he wins them over, and his only weapon is a mop. I mean, come on,
Right.
a mop. That's it, and a tutu. It's terrific. And and now with AI and all CGI and all this, I can't do that anymore. I've gone a different direction. And I can't do Sinners. That's the greatest movie. I mean, it's unbelievable how good that movie is. I didn't even know
Right. Right.
Michael
Right.
Jordan. I didn't know he was playing two parts. His acting was so good. I mean, really, that's a Kugler. What a genius! It's terrific. If that
Yeah.
doesn't win, if the thing with the was it Pool Marty something or other? If that wins, fuck it.
Marty
I'm not
Supreme.
again. Oscars. You buy an Oscar. You can't buy love like we have with our fans. You can't buy it. Rupert Murdoch, with all his billions, people still hate him, and they hate his movies. They just,
I'm cu-
unfortunately, they have to see him. Nothing
I'm
else.
I'm curious, Lloyd. One of the highlights to me out of the Trauma catalog, to me that does not get talked about a lot is the Toxic Crusaders cartoon. I was watching Netflix with my kids a while back. I feel like a lot of the cartoons on Netflix have kind of bitten off that style with the Toxic Crusaders. It's just kind of a very weird, quirky storyline. It was really innovative at that time. I've always been curious to ask you, man, to take something that was kind of like R-rated, like the Toxic Avenger, and make it digestible for little kids. Why didn't Trauma ever do that with like the classic Nukem High films? I felt like that would have been a great transition. You know what I'm saying? And it was very doable.
Well, we came close. We came close. CBS wanted to do it. And also, we Fox, we were ready to sign a deal with Kabuki Man cartoon. They
Mm,
made a pilot that was very good, but here's what happened: the anti-Asian mood in America became very. The reason I made Kabuki Man because there was this rising Asian hate because Japan had bought a Rockefeller Center and they bought a lot of American assets. And there was a guy in Congress who said that this is Pearl Harbor all over again. Uh, the Japanese economy, the yen was very high, so they could buy, the dollar was crap, which it is today. So they bought a lot of assets. They overpaid like crazy. They got fucked, but then that was determined later. But there was this mood of like the Trump, a mood of Asian hate, and so that was where Kabuki Man originated. And Margot Fox, I think her name, no, Margot at Fox, I can't remember what her name was. She ran the children's department and she was terrific. But after we were about to sign, and then they said, look, we can't put it out in this atmosphere. And shows you, no courage, no courage. Right? They fired Colbert. They're getting rid of CNN has been totally emasculated. I travel a lot, and every time I turn it on in a that's not New York or L.A., it's playing movies. CNN, Trump wins, right? He's allowing Paramount to buy up Warner's with the agreement that they'll cut off CNN's penis, and same with CBS, and cut off their vaginas too, and their mouths. That's the most important part. So we're getting all the plaques at the Smithsonian have been changed. Anything that might suggest that American history wasn't so great, right? We're not the saviors of the world. Is taken away. Trump doesn't want and it puts his name on everything. The good news is all the arts are leaving the Trump JFK Center in Washington. The San Francisco Opera just quit. They're running away because they hate Trump. They don't want to be involved. And the ones who do remain, fuck them. They did have some celebrities at some event, Kid Rock or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Stallone may have gone.
Lloyd, I had a question about your films.
It's a great
How do
question. I
you?
think the reason our films come through, first, they're entertaining. Second, they've got something very important to tell people. And third, they have love, and that works. at least to our fans. And if we had advertising, we have to pay for our movies. Nobody pays for them, and they don't make
And
money. In the
the
long
social
term, they do make
commentary
money,
is
but you have to wait
very funny
25
too.
years.
So
Terra
that
Firma,
helps.
made in 2000 or 1999. Last year it broke even. And it's a great movie. It's now #1 on Troma Now streaming service. We also have, by the way, we've got Frankenhooker and Maniac Cop, and we've got a lot of movies that we didn't make that are many of which have stars. We got the first Robert De Niro movie, which we helped produce. We've got Dustin Hoffman's first movie, Marco's Millions, very good. We've got all sorts of interesting movies made by other people with movie stars, as well as crazy movies like Bloodsucking Freaks that we didn't make, and they're great. And you don't get them anywhere else, and it's cheap. You can basically do it for free. We want people to see our art. That's why artists make art. They want people to see it. So I mean, as long I've been able to raise kids, and my wife's had a job. In fact, she was a commissioner of film in New York State for 30 years, and then
Yep.
she produced #Shakespeare's Shitstorm based on The Tempest. She produced it with two other people. And then she went back to be a commissioner of media for New York City because the industry was in trouble, COVID and the strike, and they because of my wife's tax incentive that she created. There were about 15 new sound stages here in New York City, and about 5 or 6 up further up north. And they need to fill them. Not enough jobs out there now.
Yeah.
So because of the other states have copied my wife's incentives, as have other countries. So
There
they
seems to
brought
be
her
a lot
back, and
more
New
films.
York's come up again. And now she has retired. Last week she finally retired.
Congratulations
So
to her.
now she's free to fight with me all the time.
So I want to ask you, when do you know when it's time for
Oh, I
a
can't hear you.
sequel, or oh,
Sabrina, I'm afraid it went off again.
sure.
I'm
Hello,
sorry.
Because you got that Chinese thing right there. That's why. That's they're coming to
hello.
hack you. Hold on.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry about
I
that.
think it's me.
We probably haven't paid our internet bills or something. That's the life of underground. Thank you, Sabrina. The life of
How
underground
could you
filmmaking,
hear me?
gentlemen.
Can you hear me?
It's a tough road to hoe.
Mm.
I've seen
Lloyd?
many hoes in my life too. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I want
I'm
to
a good
ask you,
farmer. No, that was
how
a
do you
bad
know when
joke.
it's hello? Yep. I want to ask you.
Oh no, it went out again.
Okay, I see. I see. Ty, can you see
Sabrina,
if we can hear you?
it went out
Can
again.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, can
And
you hear
it
me?
says I have full internet.
Yeah, no, you're good. It might be on their end,
Oh,
or it might be the website.
tell them we're.
Get everything back
There we go.
situated here.
Hello.
We're back and we're situated here.
Sorry about that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's perfect now.
Okay, great, great. I want to ask you,
Thanks.
how do you know when it's time for a sequel, or how do you know when it's time for a remake for one of your films? Because
Well, regarding that's a very good question. Regarding, I took Chinese studies. That was my major, and the one thing I got out of Yale, other than a lot of free drugs, and I learned about Marvel comic books, is that's about it. But I majored in Chinese studies. In Taoism, suggests a dualistic universe, the
Mhm.
Tao Te Ching and Lao Tzu and all that. And so I think that has a lot to do with deciding on anything. I try to flow with it a little bit and then be satirical within the what's going on in the times that are movies, in the context of when we're making movies.
Oh,
So
interesting. So
school
whenever
shootings, huh?
yeah, whenever it's like culturally relevant again, it will come to you, and you'll start thinking about it.
Yeah, well, something with that first school shooting, Columbine. We
Yeah.
made Citizen Toxie right after that, thinking that well, it happened once, but we'll still make fun of it and humiliate these assholes. We made the diaper mafia. They would call themselves the trench coats mafia. And, they were babies, so we put them in diapers. It's Citizen Toxie's the best Toxic Avenger, except for making Blair's $50 million Toxic Avenger, which is the best by far. But regarding making the sequel to Toxic Avenger, I was in Germany at the Cannes Film Festival. We were showing something else. I had no intention of doing any more Toxies. But then the German, no, yeah, I think it was the German buyer said, I heard you were going to sell the sequel to a competition. I never even thought of a sequel. And at any rate, at the festival, somehow word got out. And the next thing we know, we get a big advance for the sequel from Lorimar, which was a vassal of Warner Brothers. And so we were able to make. It was supposed to be Mr. Melvin, which is about a 2-hour movie, but the theaters refused to play a longer, more ambitious movie by a low-class underground trash filmmaker. So we had to cut up Mr. Melvin into two pieces. Toxic Avenger 2 it was Lorimar, and then we had to make Toxic. We had to cut Mr. Melvin into two pieces. Toxic Avenger 3, the Last Temptation of Toxie. But now we have two enterprising Troma employees who found the original script of Mr. Melvin in the Troma basement, and they reconstructed parts 2 and 3 back to the original script, Mr. Melvin, and it's being shown at quite a number of theaters. And it's so much better than seeing it split up into two pieces. So
Oh wow.
the point is, the sequels are just kismet. They just and the cartoons. Good God, a children's cartoon made out of a movie that had a young boy's head being squashed by the wheel of an automobile. What the heck's that all about? I have no idea. But I'll tell you, the Murakami Wolf who made the cartoons, and we wrote. They let us write three of them, and they really consulted with us and were terrific. And they got the spirit of Tromaville. They got the humor and the satire and the Mad Magazine thing without sex and violence. And they changed Sarah's name, Yvonne, and she just couldn't see very well. She had the sunglasses, but she wasn't blind. And they toned down some of the stuff, and they called it the Crusaders, which is a very bad word to use. I don't know whether you know that, but the Crusades were abominable. So why they chose the Crusaders, I don't know. It's very offensive. But the series was always #1, and the only reason it stopped is that New Line, who was going to make the big time Toxic Crusaders movie, and had signed a contract that was as solid as gold. And then they reneged, and they said they had their fingers crossed. They weren't going to make the movie.
Of course.
So we sued them, and we drew blood. It took
Mm.
five. It took 5 years and about $500,000. They didn't know we had a treasure chest. That we were not like the other independent movie makers who go to banks and have to pay interest and go broke and don't have money for lawyers' fee. We pay our own movies. We have no banks. We have to put up the money ourselves, and we were able to get a big time law firm to represent us
Oh wow.
for no money, just a piece of the action. But we had to pay for the expert witnesses, one of which was $50,000 for one day back in the early '90s.
Damn.
It's a big load to carry. It went on for 4 or 5 years, and they settled as they always do on the steps of the courthouse. They didn't want to go in and have a trial because they knew what would happen. They were 100% wrong. Fuckers. Fuckers.
So
They're
when
fuckers. But I'm
I
not
remember.
bitter. I'm
Yeah.
not bitter. Robbie and
I
Ty
mean, you
and Ty and Robbie, I'm not bitter.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I wanted to ask you about comic books as well because I remember first time I heard about Toxic Avenger was the my friend was into comic books and I I then saw it on TV later on, and I was just like, oh, it's. I didn't realize the film inspired the comic books and all this other stuff as well. It just seemed like such a developed, like uh, for someone like me, I moved to this country at 15, so I just remember it seemed like such an ingrained character in the culture already when I moved here. I was surprised to see it was originally from a film, then back into comic books, then
Well,
into cartoons and
nobody was more surprised than Michael Hers and Lloyd Kaufman. Let me tell you, and the thing, word of mouth, and Stan Lee. Uh, when I was in college, that's when I never my parents didn't allow me comic books, Coca-Cola. I went to an old boys school, blah blah blah, and so I looked at this Marvel comic home. Eric Sherman, my Yale neighbor, had a big stack of them, and the artwork, the humor, and the fact that Stan gave his Ditko, the colorer, he'd give them all credits, and he'd give them names, Sexy Steve Ditko, or Raging Robert whoever it was,
yeah.
he'd give him credits in the comic books. I love that. He used alliteration, but the art was so beautiful, and the stories were Dick Kirby, or whatever his name is,
Mm.
all beautiful people, and so I searched out Stan Lee, and he wasn't Stan Lee in those days. He was it was a small company in New York that made Marvel, and Stan, he saw the Yale thing on my resume, so he suggested I write a script, which I did, and
Wow.
got optioned a couple of times. But now people in Texas may actually make it. All these, this was 1974, maybe. No, this was back in the early 1970 that I wrote that thing.
Wow.
So he was very helpful and a great guy and a mentor. He loved my wife. That's the only
Oh, that's
reason he
great.
stayed friendly with me. He loved my wife. And then Roger Corman was the other major mentor. John Avildsen, Corman, and Stan Lee. They helped Troma a lot, the three of them, in different ways. And I regret they're all dead. Roger Corman's last on-screen credit, he and his wife Julie are executive producers, thankfully, on Occupy Can. And that is going around to film festivals. That was made by Lily Hayes Kaufman, and features Charlotte, Lisbeth, and my wife, as well as all the characters running around Cannes,
Nice.
both doing press conferences on artistic, open, on diversity of voices, etc., as well as making a lot of excitement to try to get people into these theaters that we rented to show Return to Newcomb High, and there was another film that we showed too.
Yeah.
Lloyd, I'm gonna put a pistol to your head for some quick answers. I'm asking about 3 to 4 questions back to back, and you give me the answers as quickly as they come to you, man.
Okay,
What do you?
I'm ready.
There you go. Okay,
Got my
cool.
finger on the
What are
trigger.
right? What are some
Wow.
trends? What are some trends that you feel that Troma has started that you guys don't get credit for?
Well, I think the mixing of genres when we began, you had to stick to your lane. But a lot of the mainstream, Porky's is a great example. We made Squeeze Play, Waitress, Stuck on You, and then Porky's comes, which was basically a Troma movie. And then we had to, and the studios started doing that. But they used good acting and good scripts. So, God damn it, they weren't playing fair. So then we had to
Right,
move into Toxic Avenger. So Michael
right,
read in Variety, Michael read in one of the studio house organs, like a Hollywood Reporter. Horror films are no longer commercially viable. So he said, "Hey, if the experts are saying that, we do the opposite." So okay, we'll go
okay,
into horror. We'll go to horror, but because we like comedy and satire, Toxie, and I was heavy into the environment at the time. So
okay,
Toxie, that had a lot to do with Toxie's. But the whole philosophy of that movie is my grandmother's.
okay. Pi-
Grammy
Pistol to your head.
Kaufman. Grammy Kaufman's a big in. She had me read books. I read a book called Brave New World, and it wasn't by the guy who was famous for taking acid. It's by Scott Nearing. The Brave New World. It was written around 1950. It's all about the Chinese and Mao Zedong, and he's a liberator, and he's kicking out the whores and the casino people and the American companies, and he's doing great things. And of course, now look at it. Now it's a disgrace,
Okay.
China. Right?
Pistol
You
still
can't
to
even
your head,
talk
Mr.
there.
Kaufman.
What's that?
Lloyd, pistol still to your head, right? I
Oh,
got another
sorry.
one.
I'm probably taking too long. Okay.
Rough estimate over the past 53 years, movies, opening weekends, merchandise, streaming services, VHS sales, DVD sales, roughly how much money has Trauma made since its inception? Rough estimate.
I have no idea. Right now, which is very unusual, thanks to Troma Now, which is successful, and it's been there for 20 years. We're in business, but our movies have never made it. The Toxic Avenger obviously has made some money, and occasionally, after time, when word gets out, that movies that we make usually do very well. And then there are others that Cannibal the Musical, nobody would touch it, and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't finished when Trey and Parker and Matt Stone took it around. They took it to us first, and but we didn't have a lot of, we couldn't give them any money. We could finish the film maybe. And Michael Hurst told them go to the companies with money, and it's hilarious. We loved it. What we saw was brilliant. It was obvious, but the suits in the mainstream studios are, they're all afraid of getting fired, and they're all driving cars they don't really own, and their homes are mortgaged up to ears. They have to puff and show how big and fancy they are, and then they're worried about their next job, blah blah. So they're afraid. They don't want to do anything different. So we finished Cannibal the Musical. We had the boys make a opening that was more Trauma, and the movie was a hit. That was a big hit for us. And then South Park broke shortly thereafter, and rest is history.
Right on.
Uh, I have a question for you. Obviously, uh, you've always been independent. This is your own style, etc. But let's say you're born in a different time. You're in college now, and you want to make independent films, and try to do the same thing that you have accomplished. How would you do it? How do you think it would be different? And do you think it would be possible for you to do this?
Well, the
That's
good
a good
news is we own a small building here, and the basement has a green screen, and we have many independent filmmakers who come in, and we let them film here if we're not using it, and there are filmmakers all over the world now who have made their own little trauma. Have little movie companies and make their own movies. It's yin and yang. The digital revolution has democratized the making of cinema. The problem is the presentation of cinema has been moving pictures. That is, has been preempted by a duopoly, and it's true all over the world. The governments control movies all over the world with a small number of major companies. Every country is basically closed to independence, so you have to get out there on your own. Now, talent will out. James Gunn worked for us. Speaking of Superman,
Wow.
and obviously his movies have a huge influence. Scooby Doo, which he wrote, I don't think Scooby Doo had any farts in it before James Gunn, and his Superman. All his movies have a satiric, a bit of satire. They all have a heart, tug at your heartstrings, and of course I'm in most of them. But requires a good hand job.
Yeah. But do you think it would be tougher for you?
You mean just starting out?
Yeah.
That's a very good question. I think it's great that you can make a movie for no money. So all you
Yeah.
need is read some books, watch movies, and have something to say and write, which is the hardest part, the writing. I hate that. But and I usually write with young people because I'm so old and I got I'm still thinking about World War II, although I was born after just after. And
Let's see. Go time.
I have James Gunn,
Oh,
for example, when he started my assistant, and
You're,
he started directing shorts. He started directing short films and became very successful. But I had seen on his resume that he had a MA in English. He wrote a
your
novel,
your
which I read
sound is cutting
before
out a
we
little bit,
hired him.
Lloyd.
yeah, it sounded a little robotic. Maybe it's the internet again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You-
If you
no,
guys
okay, it's
want to
back
do
now.
this, if
No,
you
it's
want to
back now.
do it, if you want to do it again, I don't know if we're going to run out of time, but I could. I'm pretty free this evening, probably
No, you're
after
good.
7. Oh,
No,
okay.
It,
this
it
is
cleared
good.
up. It cleared up. Yeah.
Yeah, it go. Yeah, it was for a few seconds. Now it's gone.
Oh,
Just
good.
Go
repeat
ahead.
whatever you just said. Repeat whatever you
Yeah,
just
Oh,
said.
if you could.
a question again?
It was about you trying to be independent filmmaker
Okay.
now, and you
Well, I think there were more independent films being
yeah
made, thanks to the democratization brought to you by digital cameras
yeah
and phone cameras. Kugler being a great example of using all the medias. But I mean, Danny Boyle did a lot of it on phones and things, and the deep and videotape the old-fashioned half-inch, I think, with train spotting. But so now you can make a great movie with your telephone, as our buddy Sean Baker, who's a big fan of ours. Spike Lee, he's now using more digital stuff, and he loves Toxic Avenger. I've met him a few times.
Mm,
okay.
that's awesome.
We are an influence. I got about 1,000 emails from fans when they saw the Demi Moore movie. Uh, it was nominated for an Oscar, and they made a trauma movie. They imitated trauma. It's a trauma movie. What was the movie where she turns into a beautiful young woman, and there's a lot of body parts and stuff. Trauma type liquids.
The
Uh,
Substance.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it. It's good too. It's very good.
I heard
That's the
it's well
thing. They
good as
do.
well. Yeah.
The mainstream are making our movies. We can't. Final Destination Part 6. It's brilliant. It's wonderful. Kugler too. We can't compete with that. Weapons, brilliant, and we don't have the ability to do all that CGI and magic. The next movie we're editing, Power of Positive Murder, which will surely not make money, but again, it continues our 50-year reflection of American society. We're like journalists. In fact, there's a book out now called Interviews with Lloyd Kaufman, and it published, oddly enough, by the University of Mississippi. Like Alabama, I'm not sure Mississippi isn't just a colony and not a state, but somehow out of this fascist state comes a book that is 50 years of my interviews. So you can see independent film over the years through my eyes, which may not be intelligent, but anyway, it's there. And the book is selling great, selling like crazy. I don't make anything from it. Matthew Klickstein spent 5 years putting this together. So hopefully, University of Mississippi and Klickstein can make a few bucks. Most of these young people who are making their own damn movies, that they've read my book, make your own damn movie, and my other 6 books, but they have day jobs. And the idea is you have your day job, and meanwhile you make a little movie. You can do it for 2 or 3 thousand. You make a feature film. You go to the conventions. You sell it. We let independent filmmakers use our table to sell their movies at conventions, uh, and they can keep the money, obviously. And then eventually they make one that people might want to talk about, and maybe they can make a few bucks, and then they make another movie, but they need their day job, and eventually it flips where the movie. Uh, hello, hello.
Yep.
Yeah. We're still
Okay.
here.
Everything's
But
back.
what's
Can you hear me?
important is what's important for these young people is they think many of them when they send scripts, they just write some garbage that they think is a trauma movie. I'm not. I can make my own money losing trauma movies. I look for something that's one of a kind, like Caterpillar, which is coming out, it's finished, or Curse of the Weird Deer. These are totally different themes. Yes, they got the sex, which is great, and violence, but they're totally different from trauma. It's great. And the talent, the people who read books and watch movies and, kind of don't just take drugs and think it's a party. That's what people think. They think all we do is take drugs. We do. But when we're making a movie, we're not. That's not allowed. And although I'm sure it goes on, there's a lot of love on our sets. A lot of people have gotten married who've met on our sets. And in fact, it's we've been around so long that in some cases they've met on our set. They got married, they had children, they got divorced, and we're all still buddies. And it's a whole circle of life. So it's very important to have. You just. I mean, it's not about getting drunk and just doing goofy things. You got to really, yeah, it's important. Read books, read and see movies, and read the books that the movie makers. Charlie Chaplin's autobiography, Joseph von Sternberg, who nobody's ever heard of, his autobiography, and then of course today there's a book that just came out about how Lucas Spielberg and Lucas Spielberg and one other major guy. I can't remember. I don't really watch those films. But it's how they changed Hollywood, created the summer blockbuster, and totally changed the face. I haven't read it, but somebody here is reading it, and I'm sure it's good. But you want to read, learn about, and also see a lot of movies and listen to there's a good podcast, filmmakers. No, it's filmography podcast. Filmography is very good. They dive deep into the directors that a lot of you haven't heard of, and it's terrific. They have a 28 days later podcast, 28 weeks later, and a 28 years later. So if you've seen those movies, you listen to that, and they're really very, very good on
Are you a
enjoying
fan
the
of
film.
are you a fan of the French comedy actor Louis de Funès?
I don't even know the name. What has he she done?
There've been a lot of old French movies. They're mainly comedies. Like they'll they're mainly in the military. They're policemen, and it's like recurring characters. And they, every film they do something else. Like an alien comes down, or they have to stop kids from
Oh,
launching rockets. But
hey, send it if you have a minute. Send me a link to one of them.
I
I've
will.
not heard
Okay,
of him. I'm an auteur director, so I watch movies based on who directed for the most part,
I
and
see.
that's probably a great director who I've missed, or maybe it's one. Are they silent or speaking movies?
Um, they're speaking, but it's minimal. It's not quite
Hmm.
fully. It's still a lot of action comedy
Do you
type
know
of
any
thing.
directors who directed this guy? Maybe I've seen him.
He, I imagine it's a lot because it's a lot of films. I can send you some stuff and
Well, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'll watch. Thank you. I'll get
yeah,
back to you.
yeah.
I'll let you know. Thank you. Thank
Okay, I
you.
got
I
Lloyd.
speak
I got
fluent French. Being a bourgeois, I speak fluent. I learned French as a 5-year-old. So, and I traveled a lot in France as a kid. My parents sent me to France,
Let
get
me
rid of me
see.
during the summer. Oliver Stone and
Lloyd.
I went to, let's go on. Anyway, Oliver
Oh,
Stone,
you're
who
good.
I did. You go on. It doesn't matter. Go on. I'm
I
sorry.
got a. I got three quick questions. We're going to end the
Yes, sir.
interview. I only
Okay.
rent this space for a little bit. One is where speaking of old movies, because Robbie brought up the old French films, man. Where do you rank when you take traumas like pure horror
Uh-oh.
movies, not the horror comedies? Can you
Oh
hear
no,
me?
no, no storm.
We're back.
Oh,
We're back.
okay.
When you take traumas pure
Old
horror
French
movies,
films.
not the horror
Uh,
comedy, but the pure horror movies.
sorry.
Oh, Ty, it seems like
Oh, we're
it's
back. We're back.
okay. All right. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you,
I don't know.
Let me see.
Now I hear you.
Right.
Maybe I have to lean forward. Don't know.
Yeah.
I hear you now.
Okay.
Don't it?
Yeah, we'll wrap this up, man. When you
Yep.
take Troma's pure horror movies,
Sorry.
not the horror comedy movies, can you hear me?
Hello, 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 hello,
Can you
hello.
hear me?
I can hear you, Ty. I'm not sure what the issue is.
I hear you guys.
Hmm.
Can Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Ty. Type your question and I'll ask you. Maybe that can work.
I don't see typing.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
I think he might be back soon. We'll see.
says everyone can
No
see
worries.
and hear me.
So, the one of the films this man was in, I was referring to him earlier. My question was Fantomas. Uh, do you know about that one?
About what?
It's a film called Fantomas. I'm not sure how you pronounce it in
Oh,
French, but
Phantom. Yeah, that's isn't that Italian?
is it Italian?
I think it's Fulci, or it could be Argento. It might be Argento. I've seen it. I don't remember. I've seen it a long time ago.
Yeah, that
I
was
mean, if it's
that.
Argento or Lucio Fulci, and by the way, we have a Lucio Fulci movie on Troma now, New Gladiators. Terrific. It's great. But we distributed Dario Argento's Stendhal Syndrome, but the license was 20 years and we couldn't pay for a to re-license. We didn't have the money. It's
Ty,
great, though.
let's see
It's
if we can
terrific.
hear you.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
All right, man.
There we go.
When you look at Troma's pure horror movies, not the horror mashups, not the horror comedies, but the pure horror movies, how do you rank those with like some of the classic horror movies like the Lon Chaney's and the Bela Lugosi's and the early Friday the 13th and the Halloweens and the Exorcist? Like, how do you rank Troma's pure horror movies with other horror classics?
The only horror movie, well, certainly Frankenstein is an enormous influence on me,
Okay.
and James Whale, who made other great what were considered horror movies, but he had humor and pathos, and characters and themes. That was he. I think the Universal horror movies were a big influence on us. But again, we're into humor, so the movies we made, we didn't make any straight horror movies. If you go to Troma now, there's some great straight horror movies, and Maniac Cop and things like that. The last horror film with Joe Spinell and the Bond girl Carol, whatever her name is, terrific. And they're scary. And in fact, the last horror film takes place in the Cannes Film Festival, which I don't know how they did it. It was Joe Bob Briggs' last film. His show was canceled. His last show was Troma's last horror film. We didn't make it. But it's terrific. It's really good, and it's straight horror. But there's probably 20. So I can't really. I don't think we come close to
Okay.
28 Days Later or Day of the Dead. And again,
Okay.
Romero had a satire. Romero's whole career was journalistic. It reflected the times. I
Right.
wrote an essay on his first one. What was his first movie, Romero?
Romero?
Yeah, that's the zombie,
Not
1968.
of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, I wrote an essay about,
Classic.
but I wrote it from the
Classic.
point of view of, he had a black guy at an age when that wasn't really done. In fact, we couldn't even get black people because they had to work. They couldn't, they couldn't, they weren't like waiters. They were, they had to work. We couldn't get them. We
Yeah.
couldn't pay them. And we did
Yeah.
with Squeeze Play. We got a couple of black people, and we've had black people, but now we're okay. Now there has been progress. So there can be people making. There are a lot more black filmmakers who are making movies on trauma now, and a lot more females. I mean,
For sure.
gyno directors. You can't say female. You have to say gyno American, gyno director, gyno.
I think that's
Otherwise
a whole other.
you get cancer. You know what I mean? NPR told me that. You say gyno American. Don't say woman or girl. Girl. Oh my God.
Wow.
I was gonna say, I read your book back in the day. Everything I learned about filmmaking, I learned from the Toxic Avenger, and I remember these wild stories in there about the kid getting ran over in Toxic Avenger. I think it was like a watermelon, and you guys put some corn syrup in there or something like that. And I
Well,
remember
that
these.
Michael Hurst, the special effects man, wanted to make a whole head cast. It would have cost $10 or something. Michael said, "No, just get a cantaloupe, put some a wig on it, paint a happy face,
Right,
use the dummy and squash," and it worked. It's great. And
right,
now Steven Spielberg's using head crushings. What's his name? Um, Scorsese. Everybody's doing full head crushings. We were
right.
first, and ours got made into a children's cartoon.
Well, here's my question. I remember reading these stories about you guys kind of having to like steal certain scenes from certain properties that you would shoot. It might be an abandoned building or a parking lot or something like that. And splitting the Toxic Avenger 2 and 3 into two separate movies when you were in Japan. The idea hit you to split the movie in two. I remember reading these stories. So my last question for you, Lloyd, is
Sure.
what you're considered such a trailblazer in independent cinema. What is some advice that you have not only for young up and coming filmmakers but just young creatives, because we're in the era of creating content, right? What advice do you have for people who are trying to do it independently?
Well, I think Shakespeare said it all: "To thine own self be true." If you're going to be an artist, do what's in your heart, your brain, and your soul. And the great filmmakers and great artists, that's what they do. But it takes time and preparation to learn your craft and move up the food chain. And not everybody is Danny Boyle, who makes Train Spotting his first movie and breaks in. But talent will out. I moderated Roger Corman and the head of American International Pictures, which in its day was making 50 movies a year, kind of beach blanket bingo. Roger Corman did a lot of movies for them. So I interviewed Sam Arkoff and Roger Corman. They both said, yes, it's horrible, the fact that we're in a rising monopoly, but duopoly, oligopoly, whatever you want to call it. But they do believe talent will out. And if you look at people coming out of trauma, Samuel L. Jackson's first movie is trauma. Marissa Tomei, James Gunn, the Superman guy, Eli Roth, Trey Parker, and Matt. All these people came out of trauma. And if I have talent, it's for discovering talent. I may not have talent. See Terra Firma. It's my most personal film until the new one, which was we're editing, Power of Positive Murder. But Terra Firma is about making a trauma movie. And I play a underground filmmaker who is blind. And he believes in what he's doing. He may or may not have any talent. He probably doesn't, based on the film. And yet he keeps going, and some people on the set think he stinks, and some people support what he does, and the real life New York City violence comes into the set and gets mixed in and with the goofy trauma special effects. It's scary and funny, and now it's number one on Trauma Now, and it broke even, as I mentioned, after what 30 years or 28 years or something. 28 years later.
Right, right, right. To
That's
bring
fun.
everything full circle, man. Lloyd, we want to thank you for pulling up, man.
Thank you so much.
Being that I don't know if I'm ever going to talk to if I'm ever going to talk to you again, I want to let you know, man, you was a huge influence on me as a child, man. You influenced this black kid out of Kansas. I grew up in an abusive household, and I
Yeah.
remember watching
Oh,
those trauma movies on Friday and Saturday nights, kind of like an escape. And I remember buying those Toxic Avenger comic books again, and it was escaping. It kind of pushed my pen, pushed me to write, to journal, to write short stories. So I just want to let you know, man, that you were a huge inspiration to me, man, as a kid, man. So it's been a pleasure. and an honor to interview you, man.
Well, thank you. You see that's what it's all about. You can buy an Oscar, but you know what you just said. It means much more than. And you're one of many. I just did a cameo for a young woman named Tiffany, and who said that she was so grateful because she's different. I don't know what she meant. But we've made her feel like she belongs, and I think that's has a lot to do with why Trauma's universe is, and it's really a Trauma worldwide family. I think that people feel that they belong.
For sure.
And thank you for
For
saying
sure.
that. And I hope. Where are you, by the way?
Wichita, Kansas, man.
Oh. Well, why don't you?
Yeah, we had. I was gonna say
Why
we have
don't you?
traffic lights and everything, man. It's not horse and buggies. Like we got. It's a
No,
city and
I've been to
civilization.
Kansas.
You know?
I've been to Kansas
Yeah.
numerous times, and Manhattan, Kansas. We have a movie made there called Pep Squad by the Yale guy
Mm,
who had Marvel Comics in his room, Eric Sherman, whose father Vincent Sherman was a major Hollywood director. And I've been out there. I've been to Kansas City, Kansas. And why don't you
right.
get a movie theater? I'll come out there and we'll. We'll do you run the
Oh,
Q&A. I'll pay the airfare. So
Okay.
maybe we get some people in. You never know. I just did a tour in England, 4 cities. As theaters were packed. You know, it was one night stands, of course, because we were underground. But the places were packed, and then during the day they had me do video stores, and it was very successful. They paid, of course, to have me come over, and I think Tromer got some money from it.
Right on.
So I'd be happy to come out there. You bring my wife; she's retired. And we'll get
Okay.
somebody to play Toxie, and we'll have a good time.
Right on.
yep.
Lloyd, if you could hang out, don't turn your camera off. We're gonna talk to Sabrina real quick, but we're gonna go ahead and end the interview, man. I appreciate you, man.
Okay, sure. We'll
Thank you
keep
so
in
much.
touch. Keep in touch, and maybe. And if you're ever in New York, come stay with my wife. Our kids, they're gone, thank heavens. So we have the Roger Corman stayed with her. You can stay in the Roger Corman suite. So if you're here, you can meet come to Tromaville and meet the young people who make the magic happen.
Yeah,
But the
very
key
good.
is to
Okay.
to do what's in your
All right.
heart, your brain, and your soul. Be true to yourself, and that's what art is. You know, it may not be accepted, but you keep going. Like in Robert Altman's Nashville,
Sure.
there's a song, "Keep It Going." It's a good, catchy tune. Nashville, "Keep It Going." It's a good song, and it's a good advice.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in.
Right
Make
on.
sure to
All right. Thank you,
subscribe,
sir.
guys. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Sabrina, they want you.